Okay, so what I'm doing is attaching the coolant hoses to the turbo. Route this guy behind there. Oh, I need my hose clamp. And basically what I did, if you look on the back side of the throttle body, there's a coolant hose coming out of the throttle body. It's a pretty thick hose. It's an insulated hose because it goes over the turbo here, or exhaust manifold. So what I did is I just I grabbed two 90s, 2/4 inch 90s basically, the diameter of the inside of the hose, and I'm running those into the turbo, through the turbo, and then out of the turbo. And then I will connect this. Okay, YouTube. Well, today is a long-awaited day. I'm going to wrap up the install, button all the last few items up on project IS300. Sorry, it's been a couple days since I've gotten some content out, but we ran into a few issues. So what are those issues, you might ask? Well, let me show you. Issue number one. The first turbo feed line we put in ended up having a leak directly in the center of the line. I pressurized it and oil just gushed out. Crazy. Second problem I had is I was unable, grab this light, to get this coolant line down here to seal properly, because I couldn't get a wrench tight enough on it to actually torque it down as it needed to be. Basically, the side of the turbo here, I don't know if you can see it there, that's a little better. Side of the turbo here was too big. I couldn't physically screw the bolts in. In fact, the bolt was hitting on it. So my dad and I were able to mill down the side of the turbo there so that that fit. Although CX Racing, they've been great. I'm sure they probably would have just replaced the turbo. We just went ahead and did what we know how to do, and we fixed it on the spot. I did get the coolant lines connected, so those should be good to go. Other issue we had to reclock the turbo. Unfortunately, this was the straightest we could physically get it in here. Just due to the drain line location and how it comes out of the turbo. Oh, you may also notice the exhaust manifold is wrapped. My dad, again, has a lot more experience than I. He felt that this was going to generate quite a bit of heat, and he was actually concerned about this coupler down here, as well as the oil boiling as it came out of the return. So went ahead and bought a couple rolls of titanium exhaust wrapped the entire exhaust manifold. I may end up wrapping the downpipe as well, but I do have this heat shield. I don't have it permanently in place, which will go completely around the turbo to shield my brake lines, my coolant line down here, and shield the firewall a little bit and those heater hoses from the downpipe. So those were issues that took a couple days to figure out. I did get a new oil line, which I'm about to connect. First I'm going to prime the oil system and just have it pump some oil into this bag just to make sure that I do have correct oil pressure. I want to make sure this is actually sending oil to the turbo. I have also pre-filled the turbo with oil. That's pretty important as well before you go ahead and put your fitting on it. Last problem I had was, I don't know if you recall in my last video, there was two fittings on the oil port that screws to the oil filter fitting, so that you could do like an oil pressure line, an oil temp sensor. Well, anyways, it was leaking out of those fittings. It didn't matter how tight I got them, it was gonna leak. So I actually had to take out the whole sandwich plate in between the filter and the block there, and I went ahead and resealed those Allen Zerks with Teflon tape, which was a pain in the ass, but hey, I had to put a new feed line in anyway, so that's my progress up to this point. I think I've decided I got to go full standalone EMS. I've talked to several tuners in the area and online, and it just sounds like the best option for my future goals. It's going to cost me a little bit more than I wanted or budgeted, but sometimes when you get balls deep in a project, you just got to finish it. So a little more to come on that, but looking into AEM and Haltech actually. So we're just trying to find a good plug-and-play system for this car, which I should have an answer on tomorrow. So we'll have some updates on that next week, and hopefully some video of the tuning on that. Really, I'm just going to go ahead and finish bolting everything up. I do got my blow-off valve on. I got my mass airflow sensor. Intercooler piping is fully routed and secured. Really, all I got to do at this point is connect the oil feed, make sure I'm getting oil to the turbo, double check all my coolant lines, make sure I have no leaks anywhere. Yeah, and then we can go ahead and get to engine management. See you soon. About that much ought to do it for some boost hose or some vacuum hose. So you can see everything's in. I'm just running the vacuum hose here from the head breather right here to the blow-off valve. I'm going to go ahead and cap this bottom pop-off valve, because probably not going to use that at the moment. Just cap that bottom valve. Alright, we got the IS up on the trailer, heading to first exhaust pros to get some exhaust put on, and then get a brain put in, or get an ECU. Just have the intake just kind of sitting in here right now, but that was the longest I've had it started since finishing everything, and I do not see any drips or leaks.
I am happy. Hell yeah. Say what up, homeboy.